Welcome to a quick introduction on how to become an RPAS pilot in South Africa. My name is Dane Carfoot and I'm the Chief Flight Instructor for DroneIt. The reason we're doing this is we've seen many questions online, on forums and even from students that are unaware of the exact process on how to become a pilot. So during this introduction, we're going to cover the following topics. The course elements, which are theory, practical, the radio telephony, your exams, your final checkout by the CAA, and your medical exam. So why become an RPAS pilot? Drones in the drone industry is developing at a rapid rate in multiple avenues. Drones can also be viewed as an element of the fourth industrial revolution, hence significant investments. Only licensed pilots can fly 400 feet above ground level or higher, versus recreational pilots who can only fly 150 feet. Only a licensed pilot can operate commercially under an ROC, and there's a demand for licensed pilots due to the increased use cases. So where's the drone industry going? They're using drones for medical and blood supply drops in Africa, for human transportation experiments, for package deliveries, for crop spraying, and even firefighting. The drone industry can be divided into hardware and software providers. Hardware providers are the likes of DJI, Unique, Hubsan, Parrot, and many more. These providers offer us a wide range of drones from entry level to industrial. On the software side, we have the likes of Kitty Hawk, Drone Deploy, Pix4D, Maps, and so on. Commercial operators tend to focus on certain industries such as filming, agriculture, inspections, and mining. So what is an ATO? An ATO is an aviation training organization. RPAS training can only be conducted through an approved ATO. To become an ATO is a rigorous process that all ATOs and potential ATOs must go through. Similarly, instructors have to pass additional review processes. Strict health and safety regulations are implemented regularly by the safety officer. ATOs are audited on a yearly basis by the Civil Aviation Authority. So how is the RPL course structured? We have the first initial week of theory training done by one of our lecturers. Upon completion of attending all of the classes, students will write a final exam, usually on the following week, Monday. Once students pass this exam, they will be signed off and they will commence the radio license examination. If students pass this exam, they will move on to the practical. If not, they will need to schedule for a rewrite. This takes between 1 and 2 weeks to book. If students have passed, the practical takes between 3 and 8 days, depending on the student's ability to grasp the instructions. Once the instructor is happy with the student's performance, he will sign them out and they will be booked for a final checkout by a CAA DRE. So what's involved in the theory training? Well, the theory training consists of a few subjects, namely RPAS Technical and Gen, Air Law, Navigation, Principles of Flight, Meteorology, and Human Factors. This is a 5-day classroom training done by one of our instructors. After each module is finished, a mock exam is given to the student to test their knowledge. Once the entire 5-day course is complete, students will be handed a final exam which covers all of the modules done over the course of the week. The pass mark for all aviation-related exams is 75%, so you have to study. The radio course consists of 2 parts. Firstly, all students attend a lecture by a CAA-accredited radio telephonist, who will teach a class on aspects pertaining to radio telephony, such as uncontrolled, controlled airspace, how to communicate to other aircraft in the air, as well as ground stations such as air traffic control. At the end of the lecture, the radio telephonist will do a mock practical test where he will check the fluidity of student speech over the radio to make sure that they can pronounce the necessary aviation lingo correctly. The second part of the radio is an online exam written at the CAA offices in Midrand. This is a hard exam. Students must be well prepared. Going through mock exams is key. So what do we cover on the practical side of the RPL? Well, firstly, students are taught not only how to fly the drone, but how to incorporate certain principles they've learned during theory, such as flight planning, weather considerations, principles of flight, making radio calls, and good situational awareness. Students have to learn 23 different maneuvers, varying from basic to more complex. Examples of these maneuvers are tail in hover, nose in hover, the circuit, the orbital, and the box maneuver. So the final stage of your RPL is your DRE checkout, which stands for Designated RPAS Examiner. This takes between 1 and 2 hours and is divided into 2 components. Firstly, the student will be assessed orally on their theory understanding during the first week covered, and secondly, on their practical flying ability. The DRE will ask the student to showcase various maneuvers covered during the practical training, such as the box, the hover, the circuit, etc. Once the DRE feels the student is competent, he will sign them out. Students will then submit all their documentation to the CAA, and processing usually takes between 4 to 7 days. A medical examination is also required. This can only be done through a CAA-approved aviation doctor, where they'll do a basic checkup of ears, eyes, lungs, chest, and heart. For RPL students, a Class 3 or lower medical is required. It's advised that students do this before attending their theory course. In conclusion, upon attending the course, all students will need to provide a certified ID copy, certified matric certificate if the student passed English first language or first additional language with 60% or above, plus 2 passport-sized photos. A file is created for each student with all this information. Each student is given a course manual with all the modules that are covered during the first week of training. The cost of the RPL varies between 20,000 and 30,000 Rand, depending on specials. Something to watch out for is exclusions, such as your medical exam, which varies from 1,500 to 2,500 Rand, as well as your English proficiency exam if you have not passed English first language or first additional language with 60%. So that brings us to the end of this introduction. Thanks for watching, and please stay tuned for more in-depth videos on drones and the drone industry. All of our contact information is in the description below. Catch you later.